This is Don't Panic, episode number 322, recorded September 27th, 2021. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and where would we be without you? I'm Sean Jennings, joined by two guys, unfortunately, now in the real world. It is actual Colby Rabideau and actual Dan Miller. Good evening, gentlemen.
Yeah. I feel so weighed down by my corporeal body.
Yeah, these legs weigh a lot.
It's very disappointing that I have to, because now I feel like you're on a screen. I don't feel like you're really in the room with me.
Yeah, I'm already not paying attention. I'm finding my pick. I'm clicking around.
We appreciate the honesty. I mean, literally, because, obviously I went back, I looked at the last episode. A huge chunk of it was us just going like, whoa, look at this. Whoa, this is neat. Oh, look at, like, I can't imagine the audio experience of that. I apologize if it was unlistenable.
Yeah. Well, sucks to suck.
Although one thing I will share with you guys, let me see if I can throw this up on the screen share, is I wasn't able to post it because the audio wasn't good, but I will share the video here if they will let me of the footage of us like in the headsets, like just looking like absolute grade A dorks. Just like doing stuff with our hands and
point at glass. Now, I didn't know there's this little light on the front of it. What does the light mean?
I don't know. I don't know, because obviously I've never seen the front. It might mean that we're recording.
Huh. And a light on I guess the light on the side is the power light.
Right.
So weird.
Maybe that's the don't bother us, we're in VR light.
As if you needed any further indication.
Right.
Oh.
It's the pinnacle.
Yeah, we are absolute chumps. But it's yeah, it was a fun time, I think, doing that last week. Have you guys? I'm unfortunately going to return mine.
You are.
Yes, I just can't. It's the same reason I don't have a PlayStation or an Xbox, where it's like, while I would use it more than zero, it will not be enough to justify the upfront cost.
Yeah, that's fair. I haven't used mine since we talked about since last week, which maybe is bad, but I don't know.
I've taken to my new my code is compiling activity is to play Beat Saber, one Beat Saber song, which is actually pretty good. A pretty good quarantine, like, gets you moving a little bit thing.
Right.
But we can do this now or at the picks, but I think I said last week I was going to do this, but I bought the link cable, the super specific. I mean, we could talk. Oh my God, USB-C is so confusing. I don't know what combination of features this cable needs to have, but none of the ones I had worked. So this one does, where it like hooks up to the computer, and then you can play your computer games on the Oculus Quest 2, which is cool. And you can use these controllers. It all works. And I downloaded the first thing I did was I tried to play the Star Wars Squadrons game. I think we talked about a couple weeks ago that I was hoping to play with it. And it does work. This one is a little bit laggy. It's a little bit nauseating. It's the only nauseating experience I've had with it. I did get that to work, but then I was like, well, this is pretty cool. Like, it looks way better if you have a computer that can drive it than the Oculus built-in thing does. Like, I wish I could show you, but you kind of just have to experience it. And then there's this. So I guess Steam. There's this thing called Steam VR, which is like the Steam launcher but for VR games. And like the Oculus thing, you can set up your room and you can have like your area and arrange things just so. But there are many, many downloadable areas that people have made, including Valve has made. And there's these super detailed Half-Life rooms that you can download and just be in. And it looks these looked like almost real. Like, I think if they tried to make it look real, it would have looked a little bit bad, but that Half-Life style is just not real enough that it looks amazing. So then I was like, okay, I have to download the Half-Life Alyx game, the VR Half-Life game. And it is really cool. It's like, it's everything you think you... Well, one thing I was just surprised by is apparently all the VR things have decided the way you move is the way you move in the Oculus Quest thing, where you just like move your joystick and then you like teleport to where you want to go. So even this game works like that. Though I think you can change that if you want to. So the movement isn't very nauseating, but you get the gun, which is super cool. You got to reload the gun. It adds like a whole other layer to like battles and stuff. But then of course the cool thing is they have the gravity glove. I don't know if you've played Half-Life 2. The gravity glove was this thing you could like, it was one of the inspirations for Portal, where you like pick up stuff and move it around. But you do it with your hands. You just like point at things in the game world, and then you reel it in like you're fishing. You like a flick with your wrist, and then it pops in the air. Then you have to catch it. So there's like this other thing, like you're shooting with this hand, then you're pointing at stuff, you're flicking it towards you and catching it and trying to throw things. It's like, it's super hard but fun. It's one of those things like once you get good at it, like the Spider-Man game, like once you get the hang of it, you're like, I'm a god. Like I'm just flicking shit around all over the place. I know how to reload this gun. I'm amazing. Nice. Half-Life Alyx, super cool. So I'm going to hang on to it because I haven't beaten that game yet. And hopefully there are more things like that. And now I'm actually motivated to upgrade my computer. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this would look even better. Because when I start up Half-Life Alyx, it's like, warning, your video card sucks. I'm like, oh man, this card's only 4 years old. But it still looks really good. I don't know what they're talking about.
And you're running this off your PC?
Yeah, GTX 1080. Old hat at this point. Wow. And when you get one of those like spider walker things that just like walks over you, so cool.
I watched the video for, I don't know, like I clicked on your link and the video came up and those little like face jumper things.
I haven't
look really
encountered
creepy.
a face jumper, a live one yet.
That seems creepy.
So does this mean we're going to get you to invest in one of those $2,000 omnidirectional treadmills?
No, I have to. I need to live in an actual place for more than a year before I can get that.
But you would. So that's what I'm hearing. So what I heard was the only thing holding you back is your current living arrangement. Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
The other crazy thing is the haptic feedback in these Oculus controllers is actually really good. And in Half-Life Alyx, if you bump your hand against something, you feel it, which really makes you feel like you're in the space. Like in that little home room area, you can kind of convince yourself that like pretty easily that you're not actually there. So you like warp yourself to the wall, and then like your shoulder's in the wall, and you're like, well, this is just a simulacrum. But in Half-Life Alyx, you go to open the door handle, and you go too far, and it goes and like bumps, and then you see your fist bump, and then this thing buzzes. It's like, oh.
That's cool.
It's important that I like actually grab the door handle, because then when you're trying to do stuff quickly, that like you got to be precise, because just like in real life, if you go to open a door and you just punch it instead, that slows you down, slows down the door opening process. Yeah, it's cool.
Nice.
That's very cool. I didn't know you could move around in the homeroom area of VR.
Your left stick, I think.
I never tried. I thought I was stuck in one spot. I just looked around the room.
That was one of the things that it confused me. It was like, move around the left stick. And in a normal video game, you would, as soon as you press the left stick, you would start moving and you'd get a sense of what the left stick does. But in that, you press the left stick and nothing happens. And all the left stick does is highlights an area that if you were to release the stick on that area, then you would be teleported there.
Right.
Yeah, I'd be interested in the moving around thing, but I think honestly, I don't know. I feel like the games that are going to come out in the next 5 years aren't going to be built for an omnidirectional treadmill. So not only will you never need it, but it probably will never really be good. I would like to have a little bit more space, though. Playing with this chair, I really need to move the chair out of this room to use VR effectively.
Yeah. I have to do some furniture arranging to...
Yeah, I poo-pooed VR for years and years and years on the show. You can go back through the archives and find me talking a lot of crap about VR. And I was really convinced a lot with this thing, and I'm very excited. You're right, Dan, for the 5 to 10 years from now, when the prices come down, when the technology gets better. And I can legitimately see a future where I get one of those omnidirectional treadmill things for $200, and you get the rockin' newfangled headsets that look better and work better and don't weigh as much and aren't as hot and have longer battery lives, blah, blah, blah. And suddenly you're like, that might get me into video games. I'm terrible with controllers, legitimately. I just have a hard hand-eye coordination like that. But even doing Super Hot and some of these other games, I was being able to use your body and your hands all together is much more interesting to me. And as a non-video gamer, I'm like, oh, this is what video games are. So I am excited about that.
Forgot to try Super Hot via the computer. Because I bought it in 2016, it's telling me.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the VR thing is included with the regular game, or if it's just...
I saw that it was. No,
I feel this made me excited for the AR future, because I thought the coolest part, the part that I wasn't expecting, was the pass-through stuff, and especially the times when it was not just you boop your headset and you can see everything, but the times when you lean out of the little play area and you kind of just transition into the real world. I thought that was very cool. And some of the in the workrooms thing when you're typing, I don't know if you two got that far, but if you set up your computer so it recognizes your keyboard, you can see your actual hands in the thing, or weird ghost versions of your hands.
Yeah, that HoloLens future we were promised and never got.
Right.
Yeah,
Wires.
I can easily imagine that getting a lot better with better cameras and color and stuff. That'll make a big difference.
Right. Yeah. No Apple thing. No Apple AR thing yet.
Nope. Unfortunately, not yet. Not yet. It's coming. Not yet. We got Facebook Ray-Bans. That's the best we can do right now.
It's the pinnacle of glasses technology.
It is. Keep dreaming. Keep dreaming. What else is going on, gentlemen?
That's it.
What?
Yeah. Just
that's it?
Just bird watching in VR.
Oh, no. Well, you guys better come up with something because we need more banter. It's too early to get into the news.
I see. Let me think. Oh, I got a new phone.
Should I pull out?
Did you?
I did.
Nice.
But they didn't have any good cases, so now I just have this case.
Oh.
Yeah, can we talk about the Apple leather cases? They have extremely dark blue, or is it gray, black, and then extremely light leather. It's you have this cool baby blue phone, and you don't sell a leather case that goes with it?
That's weird. That is kind of strange.
Yeah, I feel like they used to have all sorts of different kinds of leather cases.
Can you even see the blueness of your phone in the...
Not really. You can barely see it through the camera mountain thing.
Right. The camera mount.
Yep. iPhone upgrade program coming through.
Yeah. I just haven't ordered mine yet.
It's fine. I did the macro photography thing.
Ooh.
It's pretty cool.
What do you macro photograph?
I macro photographed some flowers outside.
Ooh, nice.
I will find it. I think I also macro photograph a oh, that's funny. The text selection thing is working.
Oh, the magic!
Oh my God.
Where it finds the words in the
So
images.
cool. I took a photo
that.
of a recipe right before this, and it worked. Oh wow! I caught a okay. Here, I'll send you this one. Oh, never mind. That's just a good photo. It's not a. It's not a macro photo. I didn't realize I caught a bee in this flower. That's pretty cool. Anyways, the camera's good.
Yeah, I was trying to remember all the different features in iOS 15, and I could not remember
My
them.
favorite iOS 15 feature is the new weather app. It's finally
Yes. Much better. Much better. I agree. I've been using it.
That's true. I like all the sundries they have if you scroll way down.
Yeah.
good. All the what?
The random.
the various.
Oh, look at that. I can highlight words in the thing. Oh.
Have either of you tried the text recognize-y thing?
In the images?
Yes.
Yes. I tried it literally just now, and it seems to work pretty
Yeah,
well.
it does work really well.
I mean, I don't know when I would use it, but it works.
There you go. Those are my two photos.
Why is that happening?
Let's take a look here. Wow, those look great. Oh, look, zoom in. They're really nice.
I think the second one is definitely the macro lens.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Oh wait, what?
What?
So when I look at this photo, it has this. Whoa. Okay, that's right.
Well,
If I tap on the screen, see how the information thing has this little like sparkle on it? I was like, what's that?
Uh-huh.
So I tap the sparkle, and then it brings up this thing here that says look up plant. Is this a thing that you can do now? I'm going to tap
built
look up
built
plant.
into the phone.
Look up finds results about the contents of your photo from the web. Continue.
Whoa.
I don't know what kind of plant this is. What? Siri claims to know that this is some kind of a Leonidas nipitifolia. Or an onion plant. That's crazy. Wait, does it work on my other
Wow.
plant photo?
I was going to say, does it work on any photo?
Look up plant.
Look up Sean Jennings.
Garden dahlia.
There you go. Oh yeah.
No, it doesn't. Unfortunately, maybe it's a phone thing. Like, I have this photo of a bunch of hot dogs and hamburgers, and it didn't give me any search option for that. So maybe it's busted or something. I don't know.
I have it on mine too.
No, I'm sure it just depends on if you take a decent photo. Oh, look up cat.
Look up cat.
Oh, look at that. It knows it's a cat. This is like the dumbest stuff to find exciting. Oh my
Yeah.
god, it knows it's a tabby cat. This is great. To think of all the things I could have found in my photos over the years.
Wow.
This is great. I'm trying to think. Have you guys played with any of, like, the focus stuff?
Oh, focus mode, not camera focus. Yes, I've been experimenting with having it on, and so far I haven't really noticed it, but I didn't miss anything either, so I think that's good, except one thing, which is going to be a big moment in this show. So
Big moment.
Okay.
on Sunday, I missed the fact that our clothes were finished washing because we do have a smart washer and the notification got blocked by focus mode. So it just sat there.
It's so disappointing.
I know, and I was the one poo-pooing smart washers. Now, in defense, if it had just a fucking buzzer, I would have heard it and it would have been okay. Also, I think that should count as a time-sensitive notification.
You would think.
So it's weird which apps have decided notifications are time-sensitive. Like the Parcel app. Did you recommend this app, Sean? The one that like tells you when things get like shipped and deliveries maybe. All those notifications are time-sensitive, and it's like like. I guess maybe it's different if you live in a house and you need to go to the front porch and pick up the package, but like most of the notifications are like, oh, good news, your shipping information was received. It's in Topeka, Kansas, and like that is not time sensitive.
No.
But my washer going off, that should be time sensitive.
Yep. Yeah, that sucks. But I would hope that if you told it once, it would learn.
I don't think you can tell. I don't think you can like label notifications as time sensitive. I think that's a thing the developer does. So I did subsequently allow notifications from that app to breach the focus mode. How about you? Have you been playing with focus mode?
No, I just haven't thought about it. I mean, I wasn't getting my Outlook notifications for a while, but I think that was unrelated. I just think the app wasn't working, which was great because I wasn't getting working. It was honestly a very enjoyable time in my life. But, no such luck.
Nice. Yeah, I haven't tried it. It keeps asking me to do it, but I was worried about exactly what you described. It's like missing something.
I do like the
important
notification summary that you get now when you do like the first pickup in the morning. I think you have to turn that on.
I was going to say, I don't get that.
I think you have to turn it on.
Oh, is that a feature?
Huh.
I do like the look of notifications, though, especially with the bigger app icons, so you can more easily tell where they're coming from. I do like that.
I like how you get like little people previews
their
too.
little pictures.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
I really don't like address bar at the bottom Safari. That just breaks my brain. That should be elite.
I like it because I don't, say this a different way. I appreciate the address bar being at the bottom in that. I think I feel like I notice how much time I spend like reaching all the way to the top to like boop on the address bar. But it's weird. The top thing is weird.
Well, it makes the notch so much more noticeable.
Yeah.
Which is what drives, like, if they introduced this with a notchless phone, I would be much more impressed. But now I just realize how much space is wasted at the top without having the address bar up there.
Yeah. You can turn it off, right?
And make it go back. I know I use Chrome. I don't really ever use Safari too often, so it's not a big hit or miss for me.
Right.
Now, is there anything... This is my first ever time owning a Mac, having a software upgrade. What's new in Mac?
The Mac upgrade isn't out yet, so nothing.
Oh. I got a Big Sur installation today.
I think there's a security update for Big Sur. But I think...
it says I'm running 11. It says I'm running 11.6.
Yeah, you're looking for that 12.0 now.
That's right. It's yes. Okay. Huh. That was confusing. All right.
But you get the same smart text stuff on the Mac. What else do we get? I'm checking.
Oh, Monterey is the new one.
Right.
Oh, that was confusing. I was so excited because I just happened to get that update on new iOS day, and I assume, oh boy, see, I'm not a good Mac owner. There's Share Play, which we're not going to get.
Right. Better FaceTime.
Yeah, who cares? Spatial audio, whatever.
Lots of FaceTime features. But you get
messages
it's
is
actually
updated.
interesting looking at this because this of like the first 5 features here, they are all also on iOS. All this FaceTime stuff with the focus like thing where it like tracks your face, and I guess you can't share your screen on iOS on FaceTime, can you? I don't think so.
Share your screen? Yeah, you
Oh,
can.
you
That's
can.
part of the new update.
Oh, okay. The grid view, the portrait mode, and then the messages shared with you, photo collections, that's all on iOS too. New Safari, that's all on iOS. Focus mode, that's on iOS.
Quick Notes on iPad
Yep.
OS. And all the notes changes. Universal Control, I guess, is one of the big ones, but that's not coming out
Right.
yet. Oh, here we go. AirPlay to Mac. I can now AirPlay things to my Mac. Look,
Woo-hoo.
I'm thrilled. Live text. Shortcuts is coming to Mac, but I don't really use shortcuts.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. I think that could be big, or it could suck. Not suck. It could be a nothing burger. Live text, shortcuts, new maps, blah blah blah.
Shortcuts.
System-wide translation. Yeah, okay. Now I'm not as excited.
Now, have you all enabled iCloud Private Relay?
No.
No.
I got the email. It was updated, but I did not turn it on.
Do you keep it on all the time?
I've had it on, I think, all the time. And the only thing that's weird is sometimes I log into a website and that I always get CAPTCHAs now, which is annoying.
I mean, I get CAPTCHAs anyways.
Have you gotten any of the, like, check your email for a link because we don't think you're coming from where you say you're coming from? I've had that issue with VPNs in the past.
No, I haven't. I wish I could turn Private Relay on only on certain networks. But I guess that's not the point.
Right.
But yeah, I've had it on. It's mostly been, mostly you haven't noticed.
Cool.
Well, good. So
Gonna
our
turn
sort
it
of
on right now.
excitement around this round of software updates is
Yeah.
the weather app. I think the weather app is our favorite.
Game changer.
Total slam dunk.
Yes.
I agree. All right. Well, guys, are you ready to talk about some technology news?
I love technology.
Well, you came to the right place, buddy, because we got a number of stories here in the rundown from you to choose from all the major companies and some not so major companies. But that's for you to decide. Any particular story in here you guys are excited to kick off as our number one discussion topic for this evening. Unless you want to talk about Monday Night Football, which is fine too.
Are you ready for some football?
Well, with excitement like that,
I'm always
they
interested
still have
in it
that
because
song?
you two are the only people that I hear about football from. So, what's new? What's happening?
I haven't watched 1 minute of football this season so far. Don't know why.
I have watched some. I had a football party on my deck. I brought out a TV onto the deck and had a whole Sunday. What do you want to know, Dan?
I haven't heard any. There are no COVID scandals vis-a-vis football.
There have been some issues with coaches and stuff, and there have been players who've gotten it. But the thing is the NFL is something like 96 or 98% player vaccinated. So, it's only those couple players. Like Antonio Brown was just tested positive, but he didn't really spread it to anybody. So
Okay.
that's the good news.
Who's doing well?
For teams, for players,
teams.
Teams. Let's see. I know you're a big Los Angeles Rams fan.
I definitely knew that was a team.
Okay, the Denver Broncos.
I knew about that team.
Okay, they're doing well. The Arizona Cardinals.
I thought that was a baseball team.
No, that's the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh boy.
Although I believe the Arizona Cardinals were in St. Louis before they moved to.
Oh, come on!
Arizona.
You can't do that.
Yeah, I know. I agree that you cannot do that. The Panthers are undefeated right now.
Panthers, Carolina.
That's
Okay.
right. That's right. Dan, here you go. I want you to name 5 active starting NFL quarterbacks who aren't Tom Brady.
Wait, isn't Tom Brady retired?
No, he's still he won the Super Bowl last year with the Buccaneers. He's still playing.
Oh wow,
He
I
just
totally
left.
forgot
He left
about
the
that.
Patriots. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Right.
You got your Carson. What's his name?
There, Carson Wentz.
Maybe, yeah.
No, he is still playing for the Colts.
Wow. Okay.
He was with the Eagles. He's now with the Colts. So that's one. Of all the people for you to pick, man.
Tim Tebow.
No.
Now you're just throwing it. Well, what about Green Bay has had the same quarterback for 15 years.
He's on all
He won a
those
Super Bowl,
State
league
Farm
MVP.
commercials.
Well, I know that you don't got the Roethlisbergers anymore, right? No more of them.
No, Ben Roethlisberger is, believe it or not, he's really bad, but he is starting for the Steelers. So that's
wow.
one.
Okay. Well, who am I thinking of? Who's the
You're thinking of the Mannings.
Yes,
Peyton and Eli Manning,
yes.
both of whom are retired.
right? Okay. Yeah, I can't name any other ones.
Okay, how about this? Can I give you a
don't know
new
if I
challenge?
can.
Now I'm having fun. Who needs tech news? I'm going to name 3
People.
quarterbacks. One of them I'm going to make up.
Okay.
You have to tell me which of these 3 I made up. Okay?
And are they active or just they're
the
ever
two
quarterbacks?
The 2 who are real are starting NFL quarterbacks.
Okay. The only
Okay.
they're all the ones except the fake one are starting NFL quarterbacks.
Absolutely
Okay.
correct.
All right.
All right, here you
Yeah.
go. Is it Justin Herbert, Cam Johnson, or Zach Wilson?
Okay. Cam sounds really familiar. That sounds familiar. I feel like I've heard of a sports guy named Cam before. So
Okay.
not him. What was the first one again?
First one was Justin Herbert.
Justin Herbert. That is like an extremely generic name.
Okay. Well, the other guy's name is Zach
I
Wilson.
know. That's tough. It's tough. I'm gonna go with Justin Herbert.
Is fake or
Fake.
real? Incorrect. Believe it or not, I tricked you a little bit. It wasn't nice of me. You're thinking of Cam Newton, who is a quarterback. Cam Johnson, I made up. Justin Herbert starts for the Chargers, and Zach Wilson starts for the Jets.
Man, I was
one
going to
of them
say
is good.
Cam Newton too. I was like, Cam Newton sounds familiar.
Yeah, no, Cam Johnson, not a real guy.
I would not have been able to answer that question. I've never heard of any of those people.
That's okay. Listen, you guys have many skills in life, okay? You don't have to be football experts. That's okay.
I know.
Leave it to those of us who aren't as smart.
Oh man, there was some sports related thing I was going to bring up after this. I learned today. I read an article about it was about someone visiting Spokane, Washington, in the New York Times a couple days ago. But then, like, part of this article talked about how. Well, first of all, I didn't know how many different tiers of minor league baseball teams there are. There's 4 tiers, I think.
It's irresponsibly large.
And every game, there are roster changes at a lot of these places. Because as soon as you, like, if you're on the bottom rung, as soon as you do anything, as soon as you hit, get one out, they're like, all right, bring this guy up. And then, like, it's like the Microsoft stack ranking thing, but for, like, a whole league. You're just constantly like, oh, is this person good? Is this person not good? And as a result, minor league teams, there's a whole class of sports marketing they can't do because they're not guaranteed to have their players next week.
Yep.
I did not realize that. I thought that maybe after a good season, you might get scouted out and brought up to the big leagues. But no, after a big game, you can be brought up.
Yeah, and pretty easily sent right back down. No, minor league baseball players, believe it or not, are functionally homeless. A lot of I know I've lived in towns that have had those sort of bottom tier baseball teams, and a lot of them live with volunteer families. Like the combination of them being paid so little, I mean it's pennies, and the fact that you could be moved at any time at the drop of a hat. It's basically more like a summer camp than it is.
They didn't say that in the article, but they did mention someone who, like, when he got the call to play the Spokane Indians, he booked like 2 buses and a train to get there, and I was like, wow, like that's a circuitous route, but now that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you don't do it for the money. It's a brutal slog. And it's funny, they started whatever the absolute lowest level is, team in Westfield, Mass here, and they literally play at the high school field. That's how small they are, is that they literally are like, basically it's like an adult pickup league.
Huh. The other crazy thing I learned about the Spokane Indians is that unlike the Cleveland Browns, is that the team?
No, you're the Cleveland Indians?
Cleveland Indians? Wait, what are the Browns?
Football.
They're a football
Oh
team.
my God, are they from Cleveland?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. At least I got that right. They have like partnered with the local like Indian tribes, and all of the signage and all the jerseys are translated into that local native language. And so they're very much like, oh, we're named after the local Indians. They're not our mascots, which I thought was interesting. And could you
That's very
imagine
cool.
going to a baseball stadium and like Spokane is not, it's farm country, and having all the signage be translated into a mostly dead native language, that's pretty cool.
The Cleveland Indians are changing their name.
They are?
Yes.
I did not know that. Wow. Wait, when did this happen?
They just announced the new name like a few months ago. They're going to be the Cleveland Guardians.
Interesting.
Now,
I saw them play. I went to a Red Sox game where they played the Cleveland Indians, and their branding now is all like just Cleveland. It's just like a C.
Yeah, well, their mascot used to be Chief Wahoo, so not okay.
Not great.
Not really okay.
Problematic.
now, isn't the Redskins a team?
They got rid of that like 2 years ago. Right now, they're the Washington football team with a new name to be determined.
Still to be determined. Okay.
I think for next season, they're trying to get the new name going. They announced the list of like the final 5 names or whatever, so they just haven't selected yet.
Man, I'm realizing that I didn't realize that there were multiple problematic team names. The multiple team names that are problematic in exactly the same way. I did not realize that.
Well, never mind the Atlanta Braves or the Kansas City Chiefs
Right.
or the Florida Seminoles or, the list goes
At
on.
least
and
the
on.
Seminoles are then the name of an actual group.
That's true. That is true.
But
And that's, I think, why the Chiefs get away with it, because it's not as specific as Indians or Redskins. And
or derogatory
Braves,
as Redskins.
Well, yes, of course. So it's all
It's not
different
about the
levels of-
specificity.
But I do think they're. Do you know the tomahawk chop
Yes.
for the Florida Seminoles? Oh,
Is that getting the chop?
I would hope, but again, I'm not paid to make those decisions. For better or worse. Guys, we got to talk some tech news here. I'm happy to just circle around it, but if we leave without talking about one story, I think we'll really.
There is
we'll really
something
kick
else
ourselves
I
in the
want to
pants
say on this
tomorrow.
topic, but I can't remember what it is. So we can go to tech news.
Okay.
Tech news.
Colby, pick us a story while Dan's thinking.
Yeah,
I don't want to interrupt his
No.
thought process.
Oh my God! One plug to rule them all.
One plug to rule them all. We can talk about that. Absolutely. The EU is doing what the rest of the world could not. They announced plans to require the smartphone industry to adopt a uniform charging cord for mobile devices. They proposed legislation that would mandate USB-C cables for charging. The main holdout, of course, is Apple, which uses its own Lightning sockets. Really, the idea is that the EU wants to try to cut down on the 11,000 metric tons of electronic waste thrown out every year by Europeans. The Commission said the typical EU resident owns at least 3 chargers and use 2 regularly, but 38% of people report not being able to charge their phones at least once because they couldn't find a compatible charger. Some 420 million mobile phones or portable electronic devices were sold in the EU last year. The draft rules also call for standardizing fast charging technology and giving consumers the right to choose whether they buy new devices with or without a charger, which the EU estimates will save consumers upwards of $300 million per year. Companies will get 2 years to adopt to the new rules once they take effect. It would apply only to electronics sold in the European single market's 30 countries.
I was going to say it's only going to save us money if the phone costs less without the charger. Apple.
Yeah, but then we're all going to... It's that balance of like, yeah, I have 100 left over from past devices, but 5 years from now when they stop including them...
Yeah. I do have 100 left over from past devices.
I have some that are so old they should be thrown out. Like like iPod power bricks.
Oh yeah,
I don't think I have any of the 30-pin connectors left.
I have one left, and I don't know why I'm keeping it. But it's one of those things where it's like, I know when I throw it out, I'm going to need it.
I mean, maybe you should keep one in case you like stumble across a, iPhone 3G with some important data on it.
Whoa, an iPod video.
Well,
so
radical.
when is Apple just going to drop the port altogether? Or do we think that Apple will ever put a USB-C port on an iPhone?
I read a couple articles that were like, Apple would rather go portless than deal with USB-C. And I just...
Well, because if they're going to do it eventually, then they don't want to change like ports twice in 5 years.
That's
right.
True.
It's all about control. I mean, that's why they kept Lightning, right? So they can keep a tight rein on accessory producers, and they can, make sure it fits their needs rather than the industry's needs. I just don't know if the technology is good enough to go fully portless. Like, Bluetooth is only kind of okay. Like, Bluetooth isn't great. And unless they came up with some Wi-Fi Direct type stuff, but I don't
plug my iPhone into to charge. I don't plug my iPhone in at all. Day to day, week to week. I charge wirelessly. I got my AirPods.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean,
sometimes I AirDrop things.
Sure. I'd want to see some like real world numbers of how much better the updated MagSafe is on the 13 to see what the sort of speed differences are. I mean, it's possible, but then again, the issue is you'd have to move the entire phone line to portless. Not even the cheap phones could have Lightning on it, unless they converted those to USB-C.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the flagship, Pro, Max, whatever, was portless, but I would be surprised if they would shift the whole line that way. I mean, do they do a lower cost USB-C phone?
What's the timeline on this? Is it like next year?
It's 2 years
if it passes.
Once they take effect, which who knows when that'll be.
Right. Huh.
I read a story the other day where Apple likes to talk about how people can use iPhones to film stuff, like movies, not just anything, right? Movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And they show it off in the keynotes, and they have this 1 terabyte iPhone, probably for people who do that. But because even on an iPhone Pro, the connection is Lightning USB 2, actually transferring like 1 terabyte of data over that, it takes like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
And so someone was like, so I went to find out, like, is Apple, because like that's pretty unsustainable, right? If you every time you shot your 3 or 4 hours worth of 4K 60 frames per second content, if you had to wait another 45 minutes to put it on the computer. And so, are there people, like independent filmmakers, actually dealing with this, making movies? And the answer is yes and no. They just buy 10 iPhones. And then when one of them fills up, they send it over to get the intern to unload it, and then they take the next one out. Which is like, fair enough. So would it be
Still
better
cheaper
if it
than
was,
that camera.
Thunderbolt, USB-C, USB 3 stuff? I guess, but...
Well, but I think theoretically, widespread ultra-wideband 5G is going to be a big piece of that. I mean, you're eventually going to get up and download speeds off of that are going to rival, a Wi-Fi direct local, even cable potentially.
Mm-hmm.
So down the road, that's going to be a big piece of this puzzle. But I also could see Apple. I mean, for me, if I'm Apple, I'm thinking we're going to do a portless phone at some point. Do we have to wait for the technology? But why wouldn't... What they should do is they should put a USB-C port on it and say it's USB-C for charging. But any data transfer you want to do, you got to buy our special cable.
Wait, why is that?
We've set it up so it drips data ultra slow through any other USB cable but ours. USB-C cables but ours. It's the lightning fast USB. It's USB-C plus only from Apple.
Wait,
I mean, I feel like that's already like the Mac cables, like the Thunderbolt stuff, and I can't possibly understand, but like no, like I have one cable that will work with my like dock thing, and I have like a dozen other USB-C cables, and none of those work at all if you plug them into the computer and into the dock.
That's what I think it's going to end up at, because for me, I don't think Apple makes a lot of money off of cables for charging, because you can kind of get those anyway. It's for who buys cables from Apple? It's people who care that the cables are from Apple, right? And I just think that's a way to get around it where, yes, you'll lose some cable business, but you'll also keep a lot of it. Especially if you make it, it's extra fast between your Mac and your iPhone or whatever when you use our USB-C cable.
Yeah.
definitely would defeat the point of this law, though.
Oh, absolutely. But that's the point. And all it says is it says it would mandate USB-C cables for charging, is what it says.
Right. Man, I really hate cables.
I mean, it's sort of the same way of like, QI is kind of the wireless charging standard, which Apple support, but they also support MagSafe, which is their own.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason they couldn't do that with USB-C.
This reminds me of, speaking of hating cables, Colby, the Oculus Quest is really, it's because I was just thinking about this. Should I buy Super Hot VR on the computer and play it on the Oculus Quest that way, and maybe it'll look a little bit better? Or should I buy it on the Oculus Quest and it's less hassle? And the thing that swayed me was, if I buy it on the Oculus Quest, I don't have to have any cables attached to my head when I play it.
Yeah.
And that is one of the big bummers of playing Half-Life Alyx is, you at least have to have the cable plugged into your computer, but for a while I also had to have the headphones plugged into my computer on my head, and it was very cumbersome. So I also hate cables. You got to be getting close. Everything's on Wi-Fi. Why not?
Have you heard about AirLink?
Is that the Oculus Quest thing for wirelessly connecting to your computer?
Yes.
I heard about it. I thought there's no way that works, so I didn't even bother to try it. Right? Like, if just a couple frames of delay makes you nauseous, doesn't seem like it would work. Did you try it?
No, I don't have a PC, but it sounds like, I mean, it's like in super beta, and you have to like mess with a ton of settings, but that sounds right up your alley. So I said maybe that's something you might want to try.
Yeah, I can try. It did have a lot of warnings, like, you must be, like, within 5 feet of your router. I'm like, well, my router's in the closet in the living room.
Oh,
Yeah, the list of known issues on their page is like upsettingly long.
yeek.
I should try it. I'll try it and report back.
Yeah, I'm just curious. So yeah, we'll see what Apple. But they've got time. It's 2 years after being passed, and it hasn't been passed yet. So we will see. If we know we just got new iPhones, so we at least got another year of Lightning.
Probably 2 more.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Well, what about any other stories in here? Bring some excitement.
Let's talk. Oh wait, what's the Amazon hardware stuff? You're an Amazon person. You're.
I am an Amazon person. Well, there's an event tomorrow. Again, bad timing on our part. That we'll talk about next week. Do you guys remember last year's? They do a big hardware event every year. Do you guys remember what they announced last year?
The thing that would dress you.
No, that was a couple years ago. But they did announce they got the Echo show screen that would motorize and follow you around. They also had, I think, the biggest one that, by the way, they never shipped was the home security drone that would like fly around your house.
Oh my
and
God!
take a video when you weren't home. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Never been released, but that was the kind of cool stuff. And they announced like 20 devices in one event. It's kind of crazy. And they just dump it all at once. I do actually really enjoy this event, so I am excited. It is tomorrow at noon Eastern. Lots of rumors abound. What we're expected to see is a wall-mounted Echo device, a 15-inch display that can be mounted on a wall, and be a control panel for other smart home devices, which is like hallelujah. Like I've said, that's a great idea forever. Not that I'm taking credit. But that to me is a really interesting idea depending on what the final price tag is.
That'd be cool.
I think I backed an e-ink display like 10 years ago on Kickstarter that was supposed to do that and never got made.
I think Colby's idea of attaching it to the refrigerator is brilliant because the idea of securing something to my wall sounds like a lot of work. But just on the refrigerator, it's easy.
Man, I forgot about that. I should do that with my... I should get some more of those like magnetic sticker things for my current iPad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was always the disappointment for me and I looked high and low and everywhere, and nobody makes a good smart home app for an iPad that integrates a lot of smart home devices. Like Amazon's Alexa app. But that doesn't have like a permanent sort of kiosk mode for iPad.
What do you want to be integrated?
I have too much smart home stuff, you guys. No, but it's everything from like 4 different light manufacturers to the thermostat, the AC units, the what else? The locks, the smart locks, the cameras.
Nice.
I think I have a bathroom
Now,
scale.
does
that has
all this
Bluetooth
stuff
in it.
work in HomeKit?
No, but it does all work in the Amazon Alexa app. That's what's nice about it, is their app, they've been super aggressive about integrating with everybody on the planet. I have yet to find a device that does not work with the Alexa app.
Yeah.
That's what gets me excited.
Have you seen like the home assistant thing, Sean, on the internet?
You know, what is that? I saw that going around, but I didn't read about it.
It's like it's like a sort of open source.
You lost me at open source.
Sorry, it's a.
Hey, Sean, you
it's
have a GitHub account. Don't forget that.
Right.
I did forget that.
The yeah, it's like, I mean, it's like supposed to be like sort of a universal hub, but you know, it's on premises. You have to run it on a computer somewhere in your home, I think.
Yeah. I have also heard about that, and that's my same impression. That might do what you want. You might have to get
Oh
a
my
little bit
God.
nerdy and set things up, but not like writing
Yeah.
code set things up, just like...
It seems
Well,
very
we're-
configurable.
Well, right now they're crowdsourcing one that comes all assembled and installed.
Oh, get that Kickstarter button ready.
Yeah, man, that's exciting, and it looks neat. Looks very homemade. Oh, it's got little charts and everything. All right, yeah, maybe we'll look into this, or I'll just do the easy thing and buy the Amazon one. Who knows? Who knows? No, that's very cool. So there is that. We also, by the way, this is one I will take credit for coming up with the idea with an Alexa-powered soundbar with an integrated camera, which we talked about like 2 or 3
gross.
months ago. Do you remember this? And I was like, they want the camera in the house for video calls. They put in the like countertop stuff. Like put it next to your TV in the soundbar. For video calls, that's what they're talking about. We're also looking at an update for Echo Audio. Remember Echo Audio?
No, what's that?
It was the thing that plugs into your car jack that adds Alexa to your car, but supposedly this new version will include a mount and wireless charging and a bunch of other stuff. Better
Like
than
a
what they
headphone?
originally-
It plugs into the headphone jack?
It originally did. The first version did. It was for like dumb cars to get smart.
Right.
I think this next version, I haven't seen any renderings, but from what I understand, it's going to be a little more like a phone mount that you put your phone in, but it also has the Alexa voice stuff included,
Weird.
as well as a car dash camera from Ring. We may also see.
Wait, is Ring an Amazon?
Yes,
Company.
they bought Ring a few years ago.
Nice.
Things we probably won't see. Their home robot they've been working on, though you never know. As well as a
Oh, wait, they're making a
Alexa-enabled
home
wearable for
robot?
kids. We might have talked about this on the show.
Maybe I wasn't there for that episode.
Yeah, it's called codename Vesta. And supposedly they've had like 800 employees or something working on it.
Whoa.
Prototypes have computer vision software and cameras for navigations, and they hope to. It may already be testing an employee's home. We're not sure, but it's more of a.
They might not be sure either.
Well, that's the thing. We don't know much about it other than the fact that they are very legitimately working on it. But it would be a surprise if we saw it tomorrow.
Now, maybe Amazon will finally make my robot that just does stupid shit around your house.
Honestly, if anyone has the tech to do it, why not them?
All I want.
It's a good question.
So we have like one of those trash chutes that you got to walk down. You got to take your trash, walk it down the hallway, put it in the chute. It's gross because like you got to take the trash out of the trash can. You got to stick your hand down into the trash compactor. You got to, not great. Why isn't there a robot that just takes the trash out? We have the technology.
I have to take my trash all the way down to a dumpster. Gotta dodge the rats out there.
That one's a bit harder. It has to deal with like doors that lock
That's
and
true.
stairs.
That's true. Maybe I can see the dumpster from my window though. Maybe like a drone,
A
like
zip
a
line?
flying.
Oh.
It's a zipline robot. Yeah.
It doesn't even
Trash-
need to be a robot at that
trash
point.
zipline.
You just hook your trash up to a clothesline. It just sends it down.
That's not bad. That's not a bad
It doesn't
idea.
matter where it lands or what happens to it after that. It's not Colby's problem anymore. I like that idea. And yeah, that's most of it. There might be some sleep tracking stuff. Who knows? We'll have coverage on the show next week of all these things. I think, was it last year they announced the microwave with Alexa built in? There's so much dumb stuff they announced. So it'll be fun to watch.
All right.
Sweet. I'm excited.
Cool. Well, something to look forward to next week, but we got one more thing we got to do this week, and that is Picks, the part of the show where you just bring something we want to present. You guys may remember 2 weeks ago, I was the only one to bring a pick to the show.
I do remember.
And so today, I'm not bringing a pick, but apparently you both have one. Dan, you've already talked about yours. Anything else you want to say about Half-Life Alex?
Nope. Check it out. It's great. Just watch your feet while the cords get all tangled up.
An accident waiting to happen. I love it. A great endorsement. Colby, what do you have for us?
I have an iOS app. So as some of you may know, I've been working on a software apparatus that turns on my lights when I whistle. And the good news is it works. The bad news is it works a little bit too well. And so, like, if the TV is on, sometimes, like, the lights start behaving erratically, which is, like, it's not surprising. I'm not surprised that that's happening. But the other day, like, it was happening, and I really needed to just, like, it was too much. I really just needed to turn the thing off. And I needed to get into the Raspberry Pi, and I didn't want to go get my computer, so instead I looked up SSH apps for iOS, and I found this one called Terminus, which, while it aggressively tries to get you to sign up for the free trial when you download the app, you do not have to participate in any trial or agree to any sort of subscription, and it just works for free, and it does all the things that I wanted it to do personally, which is that I can add a host and, like, it'll save the password, and I could just, like, log into my Raspberry Pi and turn off the turn off the erratic light situation that I was experiencing. So if you ever need to SSH into things from your phone, this might be the app for you.
You ever have to do this, Sean? You will if you get Home Assistant.
I'm SSHing from places you couldn't even imagine. I am a mobile developer, I think. I don't know. No, that's great. I'm a big fan of Termius.
Oh, Termius.
Termius?
For some reason,
Terminus.
I thought it was called Terminus, but
that would make more sense.
I think it is Termius, though.
Yeah.
Termius.
That N is not, it was just inserted by my brain.
To me, Termius sounds like the name of a foreign exchange student. Class, today we have a new student joining us. His name is Termius, and he is from the Ukraine. Let's welcome Termius, everybody.
And he is from one of the moons of Jupiter.
Yes, an international exchange. How exciting. Termius, anything you'd like to say about your home country? I also love that on this website they have a quote from Steve Wozniak, a little endorsement. It says, Termius served my purpose well and was easy to understand. I like to show off my router, and tonight, with family in a restaurant, I even used Termius. An app so good, Steve Wozniak ignored his loved ones to use it in a restaurant. A great
That is a great endorsement. It would
so
be like
good, I
getting
do
Bill
it in polite
Gates
company.
to endorse your Windows app. Like, that's a get right there.
A Windows app so good it caused my divorce. No, too soon.
Well, no. Did you hear about that? Did you see that Windows Internet Explorer kerfuffle a couple months ago?
No, what was that?
This guy was like, man, I miss working on great teams. One time, I worked on the Internet Explorer team, and we worked constantly. Lots of people got divorced. Lots of people had psychiatric issues. But goddamn it, we shipped Internet Explorer, and it was just as good as it had to be. Like that was. It's like we met the challenge of Netscape Navigator, and my favorite response was someone was like, "Yeah," and then it kind of like almost ruined the company with regulatory issues. Like you killed yourself and destroyed families to make a little bit of money, and then almost lose all of that money, which I thought was funny.
But hey, the stockholders got rich. Isn't that really what matters?
I'll find a link so we can put it in the show notes.
Love that. Cool. Well, guys, we are smack out of time here for this evening's episode. I do want to remind everybody that over on Up for Debate, we are finally, after a long hiatus, back doing what everyone loves, talking about the Fast and Furious movies some more. We just published The Fate of the Furious, the 8th movie in the franchise, and next week we'll be doing Fast and Furious Presents: Hobbs and Shaw. Be excited for that. Just 2 more left. And guys, we've got some great stuff coming up after that on the calendar. October, we're doing a bunch of scary topics, including one I'm excited about. If you guys see anything, let us know. We're going to be talking about the worst Halloween costumes, both for 2021 and prior. So if you see any trendy 2021 Halloween costumes, let Matt and I know so we can roast it on the show. We were going through, I think one of the things we're going to do is we're going to look at like what the hot Halloween costume was in like 2006 and see if any of those trends like make any sense today, if we remembered any of them. It's going to be exciting. And then after that is Sean Vember. So you're going to want to subscribe to the show. Up for Debate, wherever you get podcasts, check it out, or over at upfordebate.tv. But guys, we're done here. People should check out our website, don'tpanic.io. It's a great website. Colby may have used Terminal or Termius or Termite or whatever to use it to build it. I don't know, but it's a great site. The audio and the video are there, as well as links to all the pics if you get confused. Of course, you can subscribe to the show wherever you get podcasts. Search for Don't Panic or the big red button, and check us out on YouTube as well for the video version, as well as following us at Don't Panic Show on Twitter. Email us don'tpanicshow@gmail.com. But we are done here. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. On behalf of Dan and Colby, I'm Sean. We appreciate you being here, as always, and we'll see you next Monday for another great edition of the Don't Panic Show.